Alright, we're going to try... we're just testing stuff here. I'm looking for some pizzazz. I'm looking to zest this up. The Hulk. Black. Let's try white once. That's too zesty, perhaps? We're on board with too zesty, everybody? That's Saturnian Grey. We go to the abyss or the abyss. That's kind of putrid. Let's see, do we got a different kind of gold here?
I always use an aftershave.
I feel like I'm in a Chinese buffet. This is probably lime green. Let's see. Alright, let's go with lime green here. We're going to bring it to those levels, everybody. Alright, let me just check something. Alright, you got the chart. I was playing guitar and something just came to me.
You gonna take him out?
So when these kind of little epiphany things come to me, I write them down. I save a transit chart of it. Then I try and understand what it is in the language from what I felt. So I'm going to do like a little breakdown of my method, how I use astrology, and if you're interested in this, then you can figure this kind of thing out for yourself. So there was a deepening of the well. I had to forget something in order to understand what it was. That's the willful ignorance thing a lot of times. It's the automatic spirit. We're in spirit. There's no choice. So when you're releasing what you know, then you're opening, you're releasing, and this new spirit can come. But it takes a long time of holding on. Because every time you understand something, it's a deepening of the well. So I'm looking at this chart and I'm seeing that it's currently at 28 degrees Libra Ascendant, 27 degrees here. Why did it come to me? Why did this thing arise in me? It was probably about 25 degrees rising when this happened. That's a working transformation. Actually, no, that's a complete transformation of perception to my sun. The closing quincunx in conjunction, that's the transformation of awareness. Natally speaking, I have a 5-degree Scorpio ascendant, so my 27 Libra is in my 12th house. It's coming to me through spirit. But how did I pick that up? The transit's there, but why did it come to me? I immediately see this grand water trine here. It's coming through emotions. I was doing what I like to do. It's playing guitar. And that was on my ascendant here. Trining to both Saturn in my 5th and Hygeia, my well-being, in my 4th. In my natal 4th. That's activating my Uranus on my ascendant here. It's squaring the transit Uranus. So we've got another component. Uranus ascendant, you're tuned into a planet, the energy of it. You become an instrument of it. It flows through you. And it's that way with whatever planet is on your ascendant. So with me, it's South Node right now. If you were to look at this alignment more globally, I suppose, geocentrically, then North Node of Chiron is at 2 degrees Scorpio. So there's a closing conjunction, a balsamic phase conjunction between the South Transit Node and the Chiron's North Node. So it's a thematic expression. So I know that it's part of the healing journey. I'm not necessarily interested in understanding what. I think it just comes to you in time. But I feel like a lot of people are going through that right now, globally. We have the Sun here in Cancer at 2 degrees. And the alchemical wedding with Juno here coming into a balsamic phase conjunction between the Sun and the mind, Mercury. Mercury's closing the distance. Mercury's going to conjunct Juno in a working transformative quincunx to Pluto down here globally. And natally, you can look at it wherever this is happening in your chart. For me, it's in my 8th house, my house of transformation. Cancer, I think 3 degrees Cancer is where my 9th begins. 3 or 4. So I transform through emotions. And we all do. We've got Cancer somewhere in our charts. Some of our emotions are in our 9th house, some are in our 1st, some in the 12th, some on the 10th, or the 4th. You know, it's just, there's 12 potentials here, there's 12 pieces. You can look at transformation this way in your own chart. Alright, so I can see there's transformation happening for me right now. Bringing Saturn to form. Saturn went retrograde on the new moon in Gemini. Saturn is sextiling my Mercury and my Chiron. In conjunct. No, it's trining my ascendant. And my Uranus. And Uranus and Saturn are square in my chart, with Saturn opening the square, so coming out of the tension. Saturn is going into the transformational period, but it's about laying foundations. It's about paving a way. 7 of Pentacles kind of energy. You can rest, but you can't rest too long. And so I'm realizing that, and I'm breaking that down into everyday life thinking, mundane life. I'm also thinking about, how do I express in this world? What do I need to express? There's a reason. And the reason is that you can anchor into yang energy. You can anchor into change energy. The way I am wired, I am a yang of yin energy. Some people are a yin of yang, or whatever, you know. The cycle, yang turns to yin and yin turns to yang. But there's more subtleties than just that. You can map subtleties through this language here. So now we got Neptune in my 5th. And remember, I'm just speaking from how I use this. You can learn the language and use it for yourself in this way. Then you can have a tool to help you release. We learn things so that we can release things. Eventually we release everything, but while you're here living, you might as well put it to use. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. That yod there, in effect for me, probably dead on right now. But once it's dead on, it will be in my 12th house. So that's channeling spirit. Spirit informs the perceptions of the person. What brings spirit to form in this world? It's your relation to it, and it's what happens to you, the experiences that arise. For me, it challenged my value. For you, it might have challenged your individuality. Or maybe it challenged your love for your family or your group. Or love for the self. Maybe it challenged your ability to hold power, to sustain life, to maintain, maybe to create. Maybe all those things at different times in life, and you don't have to settle on a static when you have a dynamic language to help you assess that. So my passion is right here, right now in the 8th house of transformation, and I'm communicating it with Mercury here. It is sextiling my south node, trining my north in the 12th house. So I'm doing what I should be doing. I've got all this stuff on my 10th too, so it's putting in the effort towards what I'm doing. The moon in the 11th, it's showing through my expression. I'm trying to be of service in a way. I'm trying to be methodical. I'm trying to have an approach. I'm trying to relay what is valuable. So the moon is opposing Saturn retrograde. When the planets are going retrograde, for some of us, usually globally, there are shifts in the energy. The world's put on pause while moves and transformations and things are happening. And a lot of times it's external to us. If you have Saturn retrograde in your chart, maybe it's internal and it empowers you. Saturn's flowing through you. So look at where your Saturn is. Mine is in the 10th house. It's conjunct this MC. And what I'm doing is I'm expressing a teaching and understanding an old way of finding spirit. The polarity of Aquarius. What does all that higher knowledge and everything, what does it bring to you? What does it bring within you? And how do you bring that to life in Sag? That's what's happening now. So if you've got 15-degree progressed Leo in your chart, you completely know your path. You know what you want in this world. And you know how to get it. And because the transformation of this is happening with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, wherever that is for you, there is energy there that's bringing change for you, most likely. Which is going to create life for this energy here in Leo. Now, some of us we're in response, some of us we are in react, some of us are in act. It's the ebb and flow, with Cancer being illuminated, empowered in your chart. Where's that energy flowing? Which is going to inform this, the Queen and the King, essentially. The moon is exalted in Cancer and the Sun in Leo. So as the moon makes this pass and makes all these transits and things, it's going to activate different awareness, understandings, different shines to the angles through the expressions of these planetary bodies, these heavenly bodies. And we take in information. We're part of this reality at a cellular level, and so it's coming through us. And that's life, that's not fatalistic, that's not... It's trying to bring atomism into a sense of awareness of magnitude that's more expansive. That's Aquarius here. So now I'm doing the Pluto in the third house here, communicating, and Pluto's conjunct the South Node. The IC for me and in this chart. So I'm bringing something from within myself. I'm transforming through what I'm doing. And I'm trying to find foundation without finding foundation. What is needed to be released so that Aquarius can become reborn, fresh and new. And that's what's happening globally in your life some way, and that's what's happening for me in my third to fourth here. Let's look at the current chart. Alright, here we go. So now it's Ceres in my 11th, and the Libra point, the galactic center's galactic center. So I'm channeling something here from the 11th down to Pluto in a square. Actually, no, that's a trine. It's an out-of-sign trine. So from air to earth, how does that happen in nature? It either builds up from within or it's injected somehow. And so Ceres is the gift. It's what you give and what you get in life. It can represent children. It can represent your creations. It can represent your offerings. And I'm offering something to myself right now by doing this. That's reciprocity. The golden rule stuff. The stuff that we're all connected in. And there's this whole full plenum expression of how that gets balanced out in all relations of life. So I'm given some ideas on South Node transit into Libra. We're going to the anaretic degree soon. So now what I'm talking about is more for everyone. It's not just how I'm using the system. I wanted to show you so that you could see the value in it and decide if you want to invest the time. Really, you just got to find something you're passionate about, and that will take hold. If astrology is the way, then do it. I want to learn more sidereal astrology now, but I'm more micro to macro, so this is a fine system for me to focus on because I'm getting deeper and deeper into it. And it's like Miyamoto Musashi. He says, you master one thing, you master all things. That's the magician. That's Mercury in Gemini. Sextiling Pallas Athena and Black Moon Lilith, the repression of the anima, being vulnerable, the feminine within us that's put down, is being brought to light through this mercurial sextile here. And for you, it could be in relations, it could be in the way you express and how you are received, it could be in the value you feel or create, an assessment. Maybe things weren't as valuable as they could have been or should have been. Well, now you've got the ability to allow the repressed feminine higher intellect, wisdom. Pallas Athena in Leo. I have Pallas at 23, so this is coming into a balsamic phase conjunction for me. I'm becoming more aware of the value of knowledge and how to express it, how to say it. Moon now in the 10th, I'm expressing emotions through what I'm doing, I guess. It's not intentional. But in Virgo, the emotions are measured. There has to be a reason for the theatrics of Leo. And so this is the challenge of mimicry, holding your power, your own power, and being able to work with that rather than handing it over to something someone gave you from the void of Pisces. You transform through working to form a change in direction, in perspective, and how you have expressed in relation to the roots. Because you're bringing that new spirit to form in Aquarius that will be activated here in Leo through the passion and the love and all that stuff you've been working on. And this right here squaring Uranus and Taurus. The values are changing. Your perceptions are updating. A lot of us have been digesting hard things. Some of us are just going into that phase. It's all catalyzing. It's necessary to let you know. While all this transformation and stuff is happening to us, it's also happening at another scale in a society. There are people that are tuned to that scale. These are the people that use their intuition, their instincts, their programming to create the world we're in. How we relate to that world is dependent upon us and our own awareness. Certain linchpin factors cannot be denied. Health is one. Food, water, air, the essential link pins of life. So you want to be on point with your perceptions of reality as you go through these transformations. And it's possible that those reality checks could be the triggering mechanisms for you. And for some of us it is, But you oscillate between that and your own experiences. So Medusa stare is those higher frequencies. Saturn's retrograde, Neptune's about to go retrograde. That's when that energy takes a grip in the psyche. And the mutations begin in the collective unconscious. So that's why I feel it's imperative for us in this opening stanza of Cancer, where the moon is exalted here, double exalted, and the sun is balancing that feminine energy. It's imperative you try and find the reason for your change. You have to anchor to something. If you don't move on it of your own volition, it's not going to happen. At the scale of what you got to do in order to keep that flow alive is variant, depending on the person and your situations. Variable. It is a variant. If you want to think analysis. But it's more than that. You're cultivating spirit. And there's a lot of unknown things in spirit, things we don't have words for, that we work through and contend with and live in, that we cannot express. No one would ever understand. So how do you find the value in that? How do you bring the North Node and Taurus here to form through your intuition, your emotional depths, so that when you feel that North Node ingress into 29 Aries, the anaretic degree, you're bringing in the right spirit through your emotions. That's the Aquarian pour right there. The working transformation feeding back into an awareness of the spark of life, and that's trining the opposition of Aquarius, which is bringing you into this Virgo expression, the service, bringing heaven to earth. So how do you work that into the equation, when you got to worry about paying the bills, when you got to worry about eating, staying alive, you got to worry about the health of the food. They're making meat in labs now. And it's going to the restaurants. So they're trying to break us from societal imperative, or if you really need that fix and you are willing to go down with it, become a slave to their health system so that they control all outcomes. But me, I'm a throwback to the roots of reality here. I don't go along with that kind of shit. I'm a triple retrograde outer planet, all making aspect to my moon. And it's the working quincunx of Aries that brings that transformation to me and that self-expression through what I do. So I'm doing this. And you can find ways to do you so that you're not caught in the epigenetics of the overflow, of the overmind, the underwill, the thing that cultivates us, No shame in falling, just fall with grace and try and direct it. The will is what is cultivated in the climb, I've been climbing a long time. And so I know that others have. If you're standing, then you've been climbing. And why do we climb? Because we're healing something. For our ancestors, for us. For the future, essentially. For expression. Things will always change. It's the spirit that's the seed, the thing in the center of all the shell. The gene swarm of reality. It's beautiful chaos, and we're trying to make sense of it, and so control flows. That's the Capricornian form, where Virgo, the magician, the nerdy version of the magician, brings all that shit into form through meticulous understanding and reasoning in depth. And that's where it has informed the value structure through Scorpio. And then some people are burned here, some people are scolded. And they have to get that shit out of their system, so they affect greater reality in their ways. They're just doing what they do. And then there's this consensus reality dictate that's created, and people that are resonating in these things, and these strange expressions of spirit emerge, and we're working through them, we're living through them, we're partaking in them, but they don't affect everyone the same. The higher up you go, the more the same we become. You can't see any individuals. That's dark side Aquarius. That's what Saturn's coming back to remind us of. It's why we're building this spirit here. The actual expression, and the world's going to try and give us expressions, and it's up to us to decide, do we sink or swim in Cancer here? And you can swim. You just follow what feels right to you. And what is right is what feeds your value. What brings the value of Taurus into spirit, into form through the expression in Leo. the sun, the actual vitality of your life, your soul's essence, giving life, giving rise to elements of spirit which you weave your life through. Alright, so we got the square with Ceres and the sun. So what I'm saying is only going to resonate with people that are into this kind of stuff, and probably won't reach many of them. But who knows, you know, in life it's not about the quantity, it's the quality of the experience. Gravity is found locally. You don't spread it out. And that's the Tao, essentially. So I deal with that kind of energy because I don't have much in the 11th house. Progressively, though, there are cycles and seasons. We're not always on. Sometimes we're on for purpose. And because I'm creating for myself, I'm trying to spread it, to show, to do the Virgo magician thing, the nerdy magician thing, but in a cooler way, you know. In any case, Neptune sextiling Uranus. This is good. This is real good. For me, because I've been waiting a long time here. But there's heavy Chiron stuff involved in all of this exchange in life, and so I'm not in control of dynamics. Only my own expression. So I know for sure if I do what I gotta do based off what I feel value in, that whatever comes, comes, and I'm okay with that. That's the kind of spirit, when you find that, the world, it's going to happen. You might pay attention like me because I want to raise people's awareness. I don't want to limit them to predictive programming. Everything is being spun to control emotions, and it's at a high-ass level. And we don't need much in these times. These are highly transformative times, very subjective. You don't have the capacity for the fucking world in these times. But I have created a Noah's Ark for myself in these times. And I don't know, I just activated to start actually researching something and learning something of value, and this was what I found, I guess. It was just a result of something else. So we're all going through things. The world's happening. What can you do that's going to put you in a position where you are able to be sovereign, to root your spirit to earth, simplicity at the most essential levels? How does that look? It's what I'm feeling and thinking right now. I'm there in a way, but it isn't the end game. It isn't where I'm going to be right now. There's going to be an energy on the earth somewhere. That's where I guess I'm going to be. It's about to rain. Oh, it is. Alright, so what we got here? What can I say now? Things are happening. I'm learning how to heal. I'm learning how to trust. And it's happening within myself. That way I can find reciprocity in the world. And it's been a long process. I'm only now aware of it. And you are going through processes too, like this, probably different. But healing is part of it, learning, releasing, all that stuff. The world's going to give you something to try and fill the void, try and put that tension to form through. You got to find it within yourself and direct it that way for optimal expression and optimal life. And in doing that, you help reality, you help this life, because you do not allow the fascist dictatorships and technocratic bullshit to control every aspect of life. If someone wants to be in that shit show, that's their learning process. But me, that isn't mine, and I'm not going to be sit by and let that happen to people. So what can I do? I'm not going to fight anything. You build yourself up and you give expression on how to do it for other people. And on the way, the world fills the void through your efforts. You just got to be open to the life, this world. And they want to close it down in all ways. So that's just a little high-level Gemini moon, Mercury and Gemini, Uranian. What's the value of the conspiracy? Well, there it is. And it's just a natural thing. But if you take it personal, that's your muse. Me, I seek to find, create, co-create with the world. So the muse is yet to be. It is wherever divinity lay for you. So that's what I'm doing in these crazy times. And the storm's awesome, so I think I'm going to go sit out now. Alright, thanks for watching, listening, and being. I hope this thing recorded.